Hello, lovely people. Today, I'm sharing my experience. We had been married for 7 years when my wife cheated, and I am a 40-year-old man. My wife is a 41-year-old woman. We had a wonderful marriage. My wife was cool and peaceful, and she knew how to make me content and happy. I have a problem controlling my anger, and at the beginning of our marriage, this caused a lot of problems. For example, whenever we went to a bar or restaurant and I believed a man was staring at my wife, I would start beating him. I was also quite possessive of her. A few years ago, a new couple named Zach and Frankie moved into our neighborhood. They were very friendly and nice people. My wife, Taylor, began inviting them to dinners and parties, and they continued to invite us to their anniversaries and other events as well. When it was my birthday, my wife, Taylor, invited a select group of friends as well as our new neighbors, Zach and Frankie, to celebrate with me. I was really grateful when they gave me a laptop because they knew my old one had broken. Everyone else had left early by the end of the party. But Zach and Frankie remained at our house because they lived next door and could return at midnight as well. We were having fun and drinking wine and watching TV, and Frankie and my wife Taylor were in the kitchen when Zach complimented my wife's beauty because my wife was wearing her nightie when everyone else had gone. Zach didn't realize that I was quite possessive of my wife when I asked him what he had just said. He repeated that my wife was very attractive and that he wished he could have met her when he was single. His reply enraged me greatly and made me furious, and I punched him in the face and quickly threw him out of my house. Blood was streaming from Zach's face, and although Taylor and Frankie were terrified by what had happened, I was quite friendly with him. But when someone exceeded the boundary, I couldn't control myself. After that day, Zach and Frankie never came to our house and were even forbidden from doing so. A few months after that incident, they moved out of the area. I was relieved because I had a hard time tolerating them. My wife, Taylor, was extremely calm and sensitive, so it was difficult for her to see me angry. So she started taking me to therapy. I was grateful to my wife for taking care of me and for her priority on my mental health. Instead of just leaving me because I was perfectly normal in normal situations and only displayed anger when someone tried to harass my wife. Taylor understood that she was free to wear anything she pleased since I never asked her not to wear revealing clothing, and she understood that my rage was actually my love, which I displayed to protect her. My wife was thrilled that my therapies were working. I was getting better, and I had stopped exploding in anger in public. A few months later, we learned that Katie Taylor's sister was engaged and that she would be getting married in 2 months. We were overjoyed and had already begun to make plans for the wedding, going shopping nearly every day. Taylor had purchased a pink dress for herself, and she wanted me to wear a pink coat as well. But I didn't want to look cartoony. And I don't like these colors on males, so I chose a white suit. Taylor's parents asked us to come to their city 2 weeks before the wedding to participate in the preparations. We were really excited and wanted to enjoy the wedding to the fullest, so we packed our things and traveled to Taylor's mother's house 2 weeks before the wedding. Having the entire family together under one roof was so much fun. As we prepared for the wedding and enjoyed the preparations, we also practiced our dance moves and planned our speeches. Taylor's relatives had also been there for the wedding. One of them, Felix, was an event planner and was in charge of organizing everything. So he had been present at all times. Even though it was Katie's wedding, Felix made sure to have Taylor's input on everything. Katie was upset because Felix continued getting Taylor's opinion on the card design, cake flavor, stage size and color, food menu, etc. It was really annoying for everyone, especially Katie, because Felix was not doing anything without Taylor's opinion, and he declared that he wouldn't do anything without Taylor's approval because Taylor was her childhood friend. Katie literally tried to replace him, but it was impossible for her to change the planner at the last minute, so she had to put up with him. The way Katie was acting toward everyone was also annoying. When I asked her to check on our dance moves, she yelled that she had no time. She was literally insulting everyone and saying it was wedding dress rather than offering an apology. I tolerated her attitude because I believe that since we were family, we had to stand by her, and because I assumed that these things happened during wedding preparations. Felix was taking Taylor and Katie to pick out flowers, and when Taylor asked me to accompany them, Katie apparently said she didn't need any more people to help her make decisions for her wedding. I wanted to smack Katie, but I thought of her as my little sister, so I told them to go when I didn't want to go. In any case, even though I was a guy in my suit couldn't steal the show from the bride. Katie complained that she didn't like my white suit and didn't want anyone else to wear white on her special day. But Taylor calmed me down and we went shopping to purchase me a new suit at the last minute, and we bought a black suit. The wedding day arrived, and when Taylor wore her pink dress to the wedding, I was wearing a black coat. I saw that Felix was wearing the same dress as me. And when I complimented him and said, "Hey, we have the same coat," he revealed that Taylor had given it to him as a gift. I felt a twinge of jealousy because I was possessive about my wife. But since Felix was her cousin and her childhood friend, I ignored it. Katie's mood was so awful on the wedding day that she was throwing tantrums about everything, and my in-laws said it was because of the wedding dress and poor Katie couldn't handle it. Katie was crying because she wanted a vanilla cake, and Felix had arranged a blueberry cake. Based on Taylor's suggestion, this family was insane and was making a big deal out of nothing. And while I could see Katie's point of view, her constant yelling and sobbing were ruining my mood. So I opted to keep my distance from the bride and want to sit in the reception room. I was enjoying myself and mingling with the guests. When someone inquired about Taylor, their inquiries about Taylor made me remember that Taylor and I hadn't completed our photo shoot and that we still had to rehearse for our speeches. So I went to sign Taylor. My mother-in-law informed me that Taylor was in the bridal room because Katie had come outside. She said Taylor wanted to freshen her makeup. I was relieved that Katie was not inside with Taylor because I did not want to see Katie's attitude again. So I proceeded toward the dressing room to look for Taylor. When I entered the dressing room, I was horrified to see Taylor and Felix were busy inflicting kisses on each other and were busy in the act. Before saying anything, I took their video and then punched Felix in the face when my mother-in-law heard me yelling and ran over to the dressing room after hearing my loud voice. She was startled to learn what Taylor and Felix were up to. My father-in-law also arrived to settle the dispute. They begged me to stop shouting since I might spoil their daughter's wedding, but I couldn't control myself. Taylor was in tears because I was so furious and everyone was witnessing the scenario. My mother-in-law said that Katie didn't deserve it because it was her wedding day. But did I deserve this betrayal? My mother-in-law just had concern for her spoiled daughters. She didn't say a word to Taylor and didn't scold her, but she criticized me for causing a disturbance at Katie's wedding. I was told by my father-in-law to cool down and drink some water and that we could settle this matter after the event. But what was there to settle when I discovered my wife was cheating? I was done and there was no need for me to put up with any more of their bullshit. I understood their actual selves when they criticized me and defended their cheating daughter. I approached the podium and requested a microphone for my speech. I then started exposing my wife and what I had seen in a dressing room, and I even provided evidence. After seeing this, Katie started to cry, so I instructed her to shut up and described how her entire family is entitled and spoiled. People were surprised to hear what I was saying. It was nasty to have a relationship with your cousin, to cheat on your husband and to spoil your sister's wedding. My in-laws were religious people who found it difficult to endure this humiliation. They were all in tears when some guests began to leave. By this time, Katie had also lost her composure. She went over to Taylor and slapped her. Felix had already departed the event after exposing my wife. I left their foolish wedding reception. I then went to return to my city. Update: my wife has received divorce papers from me, but she keeps pleading with me to patch things up since her parents accuse her of tarnishing their good reputation. Taylor and Katie had broken off their relationship because Taylor, in Katie's opinion, destroyed her special day. Felix was nowhere to be found and they've not heard from him since the wedding day. My wife claims that because Katie was giving her a hard time on the wedding day, she was stressed out and made this mistake. But it is not a defense for adultery. I don't want this clown family back in my life. I couldn't stand them again. Thank you for listening to my story. Please like this story and subscribe to this channel to expand this channel. We need your cooperation, so please subscribe to our channel and tell your friends about this. Your presence is valuable to us. You all are incredible. A wonderful day to you.